Let's go through some of the mastering plugins that you'll want to use that come with Wavelab, and of course the most powerful one is Master Rig, and so we're going to apply Master Rig to this audio file. But I want to rewind back to the beginning of the file, so I could come down here and hit the rewind all the way back to the start of the file, but there's a keyboard shortcut for that, and that is to double tap the 0 key on your numeric keypad, that keypad that's on the right side of a full-size keyboard. When you double tap that, it'll just go back to the beginning of the song. And then you can either use the space bar to start and stop playback, or you can use the enter key on your numeric keypad to start and the 0 to stop. So let's get some playback happening, and let's listen to this file first. Now, right off the bat, to me, I think it sounds a little bit dark. It's a really good sounding file, but I think it just sounds a little bit dark. So let's go ahead and load Master Rig into our first slot. I can get to it either by going to the favorites right here, or going to the Steinberg category, going to mastering, and then calling up Master Rig. When Master Rig first loads, it only loads one module, which is the equalizer, which is flat, so it's not actually adding or subtracting any EQ right now. But I like to start with the compressor first, and while this song sounds nicely compressed, I may want to squeeze the low frequencies a little bit more, so let's add one module, which is going to be compressor A, and I'm going to drag that in front of the equalizer. Some people like to have the EQ first and then the compressor. I like to have the compressor first and the equalizer after. And the Master Rig compressors are multi-band compressors, so each one of these colored bands is a different frequency range. We can get an idea of where those frequencies are by turning on the Auto Listen for Filters feature. That way, when you grab the gain of one of these compressors, it will solo that frequency range. So there's the low frequencies, low mids, high mids, and highs. Then you can change those crossover points by clicking and dragging those centers, or the crossover points themselves, to the left or the right. But let's just squeeze the low end of this file to start with. Right now, let's turn off the processing on frequency bands 2 through 4 and just work with the low frequencies. We could have any of these bands work in either stereo mode or mid-side, but since we're compressing the low frequencies, let's just use the stereo mode. So let's drop the threshold a little bit to get some compression happening. And what I'm going to do is be looking for the gain reduction meter to know when the compressor actually engages. So you see now we've got a little bit of flickering on the low end, especially when the kick drum happens. Let's turn off the Auto Listen for Filters right now. And we're adding a little bit of compression, so we have pulled a little bit of the gain away. Let's bring some of that back with the output level control, which we can either adjust here, or we can grab the node at the top of that low frequency center and adjust the gain there. Let's turn it up about 1.5 dB. And then we could solo that band by just clicking the solo button right here. We could power it off too by using the power button. We can also do some parallel compression by adjusting the mix control. So let's leave a little bit of that original attack in and set the mix control at 70% wet and 30% dry. So we could listen to the before and after here, but we'll probably use the smart bypass later so that we match our gains.